So not only does Iran not want to make a deal with the United States, but they are also now resorting to kidnapping Americans, not just other people from other countries, but specifically Americans. And this comes after the Iranian regime is seemingly incapable of coming to some sort of deal with the United States, and specifically Trump. And President Trump's remarks, as you're going to see, are indicating that something big is going to happen tonight. Now that the stock exchange is closed, it's not going to affect the economy. If he can get something done in the next 48, 72 hours, then it seems like that's just on par with things that he has said in the past. So we're going to take a look at everything because there's recent developments. Even Marco Rubio is chiming in saying, we're going to fuck up Iran because they're taking people, and that's not okay. So all I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the initial confirmed report that I saw was from the official BRICS News X account, which said the United States says that Iran has begun taking American hostages. And you can see here a official a press release for the office of the spokesperson for immediate release, statement by Secretary Marco Rubio. Today, I am designating Iran as a state sponsor of wrongful detention. When the Iranian regime seized power 47 years ago, the leader consolidated his control of power by endorsing the hostage taking of U.S. embassy staff. For decades, Iran has continued to cruelly detain innocent Americans, as well as citizens of other nations, to use as political leverage against the other states. This abhorrent practice must end. President Trump issued an executive order to protect U.S. nationals from wrongful detention abroad last fall, and Congress subsequently enacted the Countering Wrongful Detention Act of 2025, authorizing the department to designate Iran as a state sponsor of wrongful detention. If Iran does not stop, we will be forced to consider additional measures, including a potential geographic travel restriction on the use of U.S. passports to, through, or from Iran. The Iranian regime must stop taking hostages and release all Americans unjustly detained in Iran. Steps that could end this designation and associated actions. We encourage it to do so. No Americans should travel to Iran for any reason. We reiterate our call for Americans who are currently in Iran to leave immediately. This is getting crazy. And so even on Marco Rubio's official X account, he said, today I designate Iran as a state sponsor of wrongful detention. For decades, the Iranian regime has cruelly detained American citizens. So that is one massive development. And now we're going to take a look at what President Trump has been saying about the situation because, well, there's a lot of reasons to believe that something big is going to happen in the next 24 hours.
Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. But every month there's something else, so you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation.
Yeah, it's very much taking a turn as of today. Tensions are extremely high. Now let's continue to take a look at what President Trump says to the press.
Making a decision on strikes. How close are you to making a decision?
How close are you to making a decision on strikes?
I'd rather not tell you. You would have had the greatest scoop in history, right? You know? Well, they're going. I mean, we're negotiating right now, but they're not getting to the right answer. And we're not going to see people. We're not going to see what's happened for 47 years keep going. 47 years we've been doing this with them. I can't tell you that.
Is there any progress?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you. But I do like. Come here. Come here. Do you want to see something nice? Come here. Look at that. right out of Venezuela. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
He's pointing to the oil tankers. He's pointing to the oil tankers from Venezuela. Look at what we got. We got the oil tankers. You gotta love them, man. Holy smokes. Unmatched energy.
Waged a war against Afghanistan. Have they asked you to intervene? Has anyone reached out to you on that?
Well, I would, but I get along with Pakistan, as you know, very well. Very, very well. You have a great prime minister. You have a great general there. You have a great leader. That, I think two of the people that I really respect a lot. And I think that Pakistan is doing terrifically well,
With the options that you've been briefed on for Iran, is there a risk that strikes could turn into a long, drawn-out conflict in the Middle East?
I guess you could say there's always a risk. You know, when there's war, there's a risk in anything, both good and bad. We've had tremendous luck with myself, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi. Everything's worked out, and then we do the Midnight Hammer and so many others. Everything's worked out, and we want to keep it that way, but we're going to see. Look, it'd be wonderful if they'd negotiate really in good conscience, good faith and conscience, but they are not getting there. When you looked at we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's nothing close. I'd love not to use it, but sometimes you have to.
And to be fair, President Trump has put so many resources, so much military equipment in and around Iran, you know, next to Israel and stuff like that, and in those straits and those gulfs. And I mean, you don't do that just to posture. You do that because you're expecting things to go south and you want to, you know, limit how many casualties on our end of things. The good guys, how many you want to limit that. And so I think you're going to see some bombs fly later today.
No, I'm not. I'm not happy with the fact that they're not willing to give us what we have to have. So I'm not thrilled with that. We'll see what happens. We're talking later. We'll have some additional talks today. But no, I'm not happy with the way they're going.
Have you made a final decision on Iran? Have you made a final decision?
No, I haven't.
What will be next move if negotiations break down with Iran?
Well, we haven't made a final decision. We're not exactly happy with the way they're negotiating. They cannot have nuclear weapons, and we're not thrilled with the way they're negotiating. So we'll see how it all works. We're going to see. Look, it'd be wonderful if they negotiate really in good conscience, good faith and conscience, but they are not getting there. So far, Peter, they're not getting there.
And has your team told you that if you use the military now, that there will be regime change right away?
No, nobody's told me that. You don't know. I mean, nobody knows. There might be and there might not be. It would be nice if we could do it without, but sometimes you have to do it with. When you looked at we have the greatest military anywhere.
And then in a recent turn of events, you have somebody that used AI to build a live situation room for Iran, using Iran webcams inside Tehran. AI intel briefings, verified geolocations, and $3 million in live bets on what happens next. I mean, this is just getting crazy. You can literally see webcams and have almost like insider information or very detailed information and place bets on it. The world that we're living in is so freaking bizarre. The fact that you can bet on war now is just, it's so weird. And to wrap up the video, we're going to take a brief look at the Cuba situation because President Trump says that he's coming for Cuba next, and Marco Rubio is probably going to be the person to lead the charge.
The Cuban government is talking with us. They're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the...
And to look at it independently, we have various different elements of the U.S. government that are trying to verify elements of the story based on what's been provided to us now. I know that the Coast Guard has responded to the area, to the vicinity. I'll need to get more fidelity and understanding from them once I get on the airplane about what exactly they're looking for. I don't know who has possession of the vessel, which is the first thing we would want to have. We obviously want to have access to these people if they are American citizens or U.S. residents. But I'm not going to speculate now because right now still a lot of the information that's out there is information that's been provided by the Cubans. We are going to verify that information independently and reach our own conclusions. But suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time.
And it won't happen again when Marco Rubio, in conjunction with the entire United States government, take control of Cuba. Make Cuba great again.
The Cuban government is talking with us. They're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the post?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going on.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most recent news down to the last few minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this, and let me know down below in the comments if you think something is going to happen this weekend. Particularly, let me know if you think it's going to happen Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday, or not at all. Looking forward to reading through the comments. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye for now.